Hello, my name is Grace Benz and I will be presenting on Plautus and Terence and their influence on Roman comedy and early Latin literature. The first of the greatest Roman comic dramatists I will be presenting is Titus Maccius Plautus. He's famously known as just Plautus, which means flatfoot. Plautus was born in approximately 254 BCE in Sarsina, Umbria. Umbria, outlined in the green in the bottom right corner map. Umbria is a region of Italy and Sarsina is in the northeastern area. His death and birth dates were assigned by Latin writer statements. It is said that he died around 184 BCE. Little is known about Plautus's early life, including his three names, which may simply be stage names or nicknames from a playwright. However, it is known he had some kind of early career in joining a theater, working as a stagehand, carpenter, playwright, or an actor. He lost the money he had made working in a business venture, which left him bankrupt. He then had to work at a flour mill to meet needs ends. At the mill, he apparently wrote 3 plays which are not identified. Most of his manuscripts are incomplete. Plautus's writing career began by taking plots from Greek plays by the authors in the late 4th and early 3rd centuries BCE, Menander and Philemon. Although many playwrights used Greek plays, he often referred to Roman towns, markets, and laws in his plays. Plautus's style was organized, however, he often used puns, exaggeration, wordplay, and alliteration for humor purposes. It is said that his Latin was a crude, racy, and vulgar version. His early Latin literary works were written in iambic 6-foot line and trochaic 7-foot line verses. This is a unique style as it emphasized the mood and gave the play a rhythm. Plautus has only 20 survived plays, some listed below, along with 100 lines of Vidularia. During the times of Cicero, Plautus's plays were successful and read often. The poet Horace often criticized Plautus's plays and said they lacked polish, which is what many thought about his style and his Latin. His plays were dying in the Middle Ages compared to Terence. Terence, or Publius Terentius Afer, is the second greatest Roman comic dramatist. Terence was born around 195 BC in Carthage, North Africa, which is now known as Tunisia. And as you can see in the bottom right corner map, it's very close to Italy. There is very little information on Terence's early life. However, a life of Terence was written by Suetonius in approximately AD 70. One thing that is known is he was taken to Rome as a slave by Terentius Lucanus. Carthage and Rome were at peace during this time, so it was more of Terentius purchasing him rather than a captivity in warfare. Terentius was a Roman senator who found Terence to be very intelligent and talented. He provided Terence with a liberal education and then freed him. Terence was soon a member of the Scipionic Circle, which consisted of young aristocrats who studied and read Greek letters and culture. Lucius Ambivius Turpio was a leading actor who helped to promote Terence's career. Regarding Terence's style, he was considered a purer version of Latin. He was the more studied and polished playwright compared to Plautus. Terence's plays usually had a theme of love affairs with impersonation, trickery, and mistaken identity. Throughout, he kept a style of clarity, expression, and elegance. Unlike Plautus, he did unelaborated verses, and he also eliminated the prologue, which gives the outline of the play. This made his plays begin with more suspense and surprise. Terence had a lot of struggles, such as one of his works, the Hecrea, failed twice, in which he ended up creating a 3rd volume. He was then accused of contamination, which meant he was taking material from secondary Greek sources into his plots, which Plautus had also been accused of. Plagiarism was not as serious at this time, so both had used material from Menander in their plays. Terence was also accused of not doing his own work and simply collaborating with others to create his plays, possibly some of the same men from the Scipionic Circle. People began to question if he was simply a translator or becoming an original writer. Terence's work was highly liked in the Middle Ages over Plautus because of his Latin, morals, and the romantic themes. Terence had a short career, with only 6 plays written. He died at a young age of 35 in around 159 BC. It is said that he left to visit Greece and never returned. He either died by illness or shipwreck, and left a daughter along with his small estate on the Appian Way near Rome. On the next slide, I included an excerpt from a play of each playwright. Plautus's excerpt comes from Miles Gloriosus, or The Braggart Soldier. Braggart, if you don't know, means someone who is very boastful. Miles Gloriosus was a comedy written around 205 BC and is recognized as one of Plautus's masterpieces. It is based on a slave named Paliostro and a soldier, Pyropolynices. Pyropolynices is known as lustful, vain, and stupid, a perfect character for the comedy. One interesting thing about The Braggart Soldier is that it does not begin with a prologue, like most plays do. It begins with the hero, Paliostro, introducing the play in an egotistic manner. To sum up the plot of the play, Pyropolynices put his love interest in the hands of Paliostro and asked him to go to steal the girl he loves from someone. The excerpt I chose to present is a small section from the prologue, but not actual prologue, that begins with Paliostro stating, "Now, folks, if you'll be kind enough to hear me out, then I'll be kind and tell you what our play's about. Whoever doesn't want to listen, let him beat it, and give a seat to one of those in the back who need it. I'll tell you why we've gathered in this festive spot, what comedy we will enact, its name and plot. This play is called the Alazone in Greek, a name translated braggart in the tongue we speak. This town is Ephesus, that soldier is my master, who's just gone to the forum. What a shameless crass bombaster." Alazon also means overstater or bluffer, which goes along with braggart to describe Pyropolynices. I chose this excerpt to include in my presentation because I think it's very interesting and cool how Plautus took out the traditional prologue, much like Terence did, that most playwrights would include, to use his concept of comedy to introduce the play with one of his characters instead. I also thoroughly enjoy reading the prologue with the wording and the rhyming that goes on. The next excerpt is from Terence's Adelpho, or The Brothers. This play is a good example of why Terence was accused of collaborating or plagiarism. It is a combination and modification of Meander's comedy with the same title, The Brothers, and a scene from Diphilus' Partners in Death. This play is about 2 brothers, Missio and Demia. They are very opposite from each other, as Demia is very strict and Missio has a very relaxed demeanor. Demia lives in the country with 2 sons, and Missio lives in Athens as a bachelor until Demia allows him to adopt his oldest son, Aeschines. Aeschines commits many horrible acts and has many affairs because Missio is so permissive and laid back towards him. Demia consistently confronts Missio about the matter, very concerned for his son and his actions. This excerpt is Missio discussing the matter. It reads, "My brother doesn't argue with me about this, and he doesn't like it. He often comes to me shouting, 'What are you doing, Missio? Why are you ruining our boy? Why is he having affairs? Why is he drinking? Why do you supply the money for these things and treat him to all those clothes he doesn't need? You don't need to be so silly. He doesn't need to be so harsh. He goes far beyond what's reasonable and right, and he goes badly astray, in my opinion at least, in believing that a command is weightier or more solid if it depends on force than if it's imposed by means of friendship." I chose this excerpt for the presentation because even though this is more of a dramatic play, it is slightly humorous how clueless Missio acts towards himself as a parent. It is also interesting to me how the 2 brothers have such different aspects of parenting. This theme still runs true today. Both Plautus and Terence had a very huge influence on education, European theatre, and the Latin language. They made a forever impact on Roman comedy and drama in theatres. And here is my bibliography. Thank you.